Good afternoon, Miss Gracia and classmates. Today, my group, Ricardo Choriego, Melvin Mendoza, Lenarth Ferrari, Denise Rosales, and me, María José Valencia, are going to talk about the new Beyond Integration, how teachers can encourage cross-racial friendships. This new is about the teacher José Luis Wilsons. He teaches math at a public middle school just north of Harlem in New York City, and most of his students are Latino and African American, and Wilson pays close attention to the fact that their racial identities affect their experiences in the classroom. So the reason for Jose Luis Wilson students learn in groups is that he wants them to feel comfortable working with anyone in the classroom. So he doesn't really give students a chance to self-select until later on, when he feels like they can pretty much group with anybody. So I think that teenagers are less likely to maintain cross-racial friendships as they grow older, but teachers like him may be able to help change that, according to a new study led by researchers for New York University. So in past decades, it's become increasingly clear that diversity in classroom isn't just a buzzword, a growing body or research points to classroom diversity as an important aspect of childhood development. So kids who make friends with kids of other races tend to be more socially well adjusted, more academically ambitious, and better at interacting with people who are different from them. The New York University researchers knew of this finding and wondered if just putting kids on different races in classroom together is enough to foster lasting connections. The hypothesis was that as kids grow into early adolescence, they increase their same-race friendships and decrease their cross-race friendships. So they looked at data for the early adolescent development study, a longitudinal survey where research questioned more than 500 elementary and middle scholars over the course of 2 academic years.
The students in the study all went to a school in one district in the American Northeast, where the racial makeup of each of their classrooms was roughly half black and half white. Cross-race friendship diminished over the course of one academic year. Same race friendship increased. The finding bore out among all of the students in the study, particularly those who were older and or white. Integration is a very important step to fostering cross-race connection, but it is not the only step. This is where teachers like Wilson can have an impact, and all of those groups activity he encouraged in his classroom, he hopes will help students learn to learn from each other. The difference comes down to the kind of environment teachers created. Did students collaborate with one another, or did they compete? Teachers who were warm and responsive to students' needs and creates a classroom context characterized by respect and trust in those classrooms. Students had lower increases in same-race friendships over the course of that year. In other words, students who start the year with cross-race friendship were more likely to keep them throughout the year with the help of a friendly teacher. The third, fourth, and fifth grades in the sample are just entering the age where they start to become more self-conscious. Sometime during those times, you begin to associate with people who you think may have shared identities, and you as a way of building a understanding of who you are. Teachers who build supportive atmospheres allow students to get to know one another across difference, and when you get to know each other across difference, you see other kinds of similarities that may be more hidden as well. The real world is such that people have to find a way to get along with each other, but also work with each other, he says, the Professor Wilson. There a lot of value in actuality, getting to know different people, who how they work and that their values are and what their experiences are.
Thanks, Denise, for that explanation. Well, I'm going to continue explaining you a little about the experiment that some scientists did in some associations. Well, the experiment was that they took some students and they put it into working groups. As we talked about before, there are some things that people likes to work with persons that they are in the same, like white persons with white persons, black person with black persons, Indians with Indians, etc., etc. So that experiments, they want to try to make all these students that are from different places, that are from different countries, to work together. So first, they try to work with 18 students. They put it to work in some groups, and they decide to give them the option to select their groups. And when these students start to select their groups, obviously they start to select the persons that are the same of them. I mean, the whites with whites or black with black. So this first step of the project told us that obviously the teenagers are a little bit indifferent with the other persons that are different. They have difference. So the other thing that they try is with children. They try to make children to work in pairs, but with persons that are completely different. With Chinese people, with Indian people, they try to make them work together. And the thing is that they do not care. The kids do not care about if they were working with the same way of them or if they were working with other people. So they say that obviously the kids do not care about if they are working with the same of them or they are working with other different kind of people. The other thing that they did is try to make some childs work and live with persons that are different with them. Obviously, when they start to live with persons that are completely different to them, they have a friendship with the other persons that are very strong, and they learned how to work with other people, and they are more social. Well, the thing of this experiments, they want to show that the people that wants to learn, or they are more intelligent if they are more social. I mean, people can develop very well in an auditory or in an explanation better if there is a social person. I mean, a person that do not care about who is the person that are hearing them. So that was the experiment, and they want to try to show the other people how important is to be social and not be indifferent with persons that are completely of other cultures or of other countries.
Okay, thank you, Ferrari. So that's what the experiment in the article. Now I'm going to talk a little about the racism or the Pan-Americanism that we have here in Zamorano. For example, here we have too many cultures. Maybe all of us are Latin American people, but there are some difference between countries. Or for example, there are countries that not like one to other because they had a war in the past. For example, there are a war between Honduras and Salvador maybe can affect the students so it can affect the friendship between they. Another thing that we can say is that cohabitate with people with other countries can help us to develop or respect another cultures. For example, here in Zamorano we can learn about how the people can be treated in countries like Ecuador, in Guatemala, in El Salvador, in Honduras, or all the countries that are here in Zamorano. So I think to prevent the racism here in Zamorano, the people needs to learn in their homes. The first step is to learn with our parents, with our friends, or all our family. So here in Zamorano there are rules to treat people. You can't be unrespected with another ones, with people with the other years. There are many differences here because some people treat bad to people of other years, but it can be avoid with the reglement that here we have in Zamorano. So I think in this experiment the principal reason that helped the students to be friends is that the professor or the teacher helped they to respect the thinking of the other students. This is the principal objective of this experiment because they learn to treat other people even if they are not the same race or they don't have the same social position, they don't have the same religion or other things that in sometimes affect the relation between the students. We can also talk about the equality and the equity in these cases because equality means that all the people in this case have the same rights, have the same, they have to respect the same rules, so all of them are equal, so they have to be treated equal because they have the same rights. If we apply all of these values, we can coexist together and have a better friendship with our partners or with our classmates. So that's the principal point to have great relations.
Thank you for your comments, Melvin. So to end with this video, I'm going to talk first like a little summary of the experiment. Well, they basically, as a summary, they basically find they join some different races, kids in one classroom, and they evaluate their development and their relation with others. As we can see, it's better for they to know even the other races in their child. So because when they are child, they can learn better, have more tolerance to the other people than when adults. As adults, we are kind of fear more shame to other persons, but the kids that have the problem because they, as a kid, they really didn't realize what are the problems or the social situation around them. So as we can see, this child have some very advanced in their relation with other races. So we can learn of this that we must learn the tolerance of the children. We don't have fear of anyone. All we are humans, or we are the same species. So, what is the problem if I say black, you're white? It's only genetic and how it can be expressed by the environment. So, it's necessary to understand that other people also feel as you, and they cannot be treated different just because the expression of their genes. So, mainly the principal problems are because the people is intolerant and they don't have enough culture to understand other cultures that are not native to them. Well, this experiment can be as a solution for all discrimination around the world. If we teach to the children to live with other people that are not from the same race, the people when they get older they will be the same and see the people as they are as their equals, and we can really talk of equity between races, which is one of the most problems around the world, and actually cause too many wars around the Middle East, mainly in the Middle East. So finally, to conclude the video, we can say that the children are more tolerant to the people, to the person they don't know, and we must learn about this, even that we are too old or we are made of our condition. We must try to open our minds and be like a child when we see something different, even us. Also, another important thing to remember is that these values they must learn it now in school. They also learn tolerance in their houses. So the parents must be educated his child to respect the different races. So with this we can make a circle of tolerance to end with the racism. So thank you for your attention and see you on the next time.